Hi, I'd like to welcome you to another episode from the field to the plate. Today we'll be making corned venison. Had a really good hunt this past fall. Deer hunting, was able to take a nice buck. We enjoy venison very much in my household, and we all know how to fry it and we know how to cure it and different things. But this year I took an approach to try to learn different recipes as far as making different items out of venison to eat, to give a little change up in the house and other than frying it. So today I'm going to share a recipe with you that I learned this past fall, and it's actually corned venison. Those that like corned beef, you'll love this. It tastes almost just like beef when you get it done, and it's very simple to do. In a pot or about a 2 or 3 quart cooker, you will actually put about a cup of water, and we'll also have this recipe on the website that you can follow and look at. And in that pot of water, you'll actually want to turn it on medium to medium high, because all we're really trying to do during this step is incorporate and dissolve all the brown sugar and the Insta-Cure mixture. And actually all else it has in it is the pickling spices, garlic, Insta-Cure, and it also has about half a cup of brown sugar. Turn on the correct burner and we'll get going here. So in that, the exact measurements can vary. I only have a 2.5 pound venison roast. The recipe actually calls for around 5 pounds. So you actually want to cut that in half. In this recipe, it doesn't have to be precise, and it doesn't have to be exact. If you use close to the measurements they give you, it'll turn out, because I've tried it a couple different times, and each time it's turned out really good. If you have less cuts of meat, say you've already harvested your deer this year and you cut it all in slices, you can still make corned beef, but you only marinate it maybe 24 hours. Take it out, cook it like the direction says, probably for about an hour, and it'll turn out that way also. But nonetheless, I got a 2.5 pound venison roast, and in my pot of water, I'm actually going to put my pickling spice, my Insta-Cure, and garlic powder. And let me grab a fork to whisk it. If you don't have a whisk, you can use a fork, works just as good, like beating eggs or whatever. Then to that, you want to add your brown sugar and just get it all dissolved. You don't want to. The goal is not to get this to boiling. It don't need to. You just need to make sure you get it warm. You dissolve it, and by getting it warm, it dissolves better, obviously. And once it dissolves, you actually just take it off the heat. It actually is already dissolved, and we'll just let it heat just a little bit, finish dissolving. I use a Tupperware container. You can use a clay crock or any kind of crock, anything like that. You do want to cover it. You want to make sure it stays fully submerged into whatever crock or container that you're going to put your venison roast to cure. You want to make sure you can put a lid on it, and you want to make sure you have that access, because once you put the venison roast in, and that's what I'm going to do now, we'll put this fork in the sink when we get done. I usually use a fork because I try not to touch it as much as I don't have to. And you just put it in there and take this to the sink, of course. Wash it later. Let me wash my hands. And then we'll come back and finish this. This is warmed through, so we'll actually take it off the heat now, and you just need it cool. It's not super hot. You don't want to put really hot liquid in with this, because what it'll do, it'll cook it, and you don't want to premature cook it. You just want to let it set and soak in all the Insta-Cure, soak in the pickling spice, and it usually takes 7 to 8 days to do that if you use a 2.5 pound roast. I would go the extra day. I think the recipe calls for 5 to 6. I did 1 7, and then the next one I did 8, and it turned out just a little bit better. So definitely 8 days. During the process, every night you want to come in and just flip your roast around, and that way it lets the cure and lets everything penetrate really well. And the goal of it is for that penetrate all the way to the center. And after this process of 7 or 8 days, you take the venison roast out. It's completely cured inside out. And the instant cure in the recipe is actually what gives the pink tint or pink color, red color to the venison roast, which is what you want, because naturally corned beef is always red, and that's what gives it that color. So don't be alarmed once you cook it and it looks red, because it's supposed to look that way. I don't know if you can pan over this way and look, and I'll move this bread, but after we put this in the refrigerator, when we come back from the break, we're actually going to make a Reuben out of some corned venison, and this is the finished product. It's sliced, it's sealed together in real thin slices, and we'll show you the process of that next. So what you want to do is take your pickling spice and your cure and pour it in there really well. There's a little bit in here, and get all that out, and that's it. You cover it, take it to the refrigerator, let it set 7 to 8 days, preferably 8 if you got roast this size. Like I said in the beginning, if you got thinner slices, maybe quarter, half inch, inch thick, 24 hours would be more than enough time. After 24 hours, take them out. I would suggest probably cooking on a simmer, not a boil or high heat, because they'll cook the meat on the outside and they'll get it brown. You want to slowly simmer it for probably about an hour if you're less than a half inch thick. But roast this size, it takes 4 hours simmering straight, and then it's completely cooked and you're ready to serve. Welcome back. Now with the finished product, as you can see here, this is the corned venison. It's completely done. I vacuum sealed it. I wouldn't suggest that. It's fine if you want to keep it, but what happened, I sliced it super thin. When you vacuum seal it, it kind of put it all back together again. So we're just going to break it up enough to make a couple sandwiches. That's be the best way to do it. So I'm just crumbling it up. You don't want it in real big crumbles, but small, kind of medium-sized crumbles, about like that, to be perfect. That's enough. I know at least make a couple sandwiches. It's real easy to assemble this. After 7 or 8 days with any recipe with the corned venison, that's the longest wait time. I would like to show you guys something. Pickling spice is what this recipe called for on the previous segment that we just filmed. But you can buy this at a local grocery store. Instead of buying each individual container of different pickling spices, you can buy one that has it all. It'll save you some money. I've used it, works great. It's the same pickling spice I use in my 14-day pickles. It works great, so don't go and spend a lot of money on individual spices. It's perfect. So what we're going to do here, actually got an iron skillet on about medium to low to medium, and we want to get it hot. And actually classic Reuben is made up of rye bread, usually Swiss cheese or mozzarella, but I like cheddar cheese, so I'm going to use cheddar cheese. Homemade Russian dressing, which is actually just ketchup, mayonnaise, prepared horseradish sauce, some paprika, and a little bit of Tabasco. You can go online later and you'll be able to pull this recipe up and show you how to make it. I got some homemade pickles that we canned this past fall. I'll be finishing it out with, and we'll also be making some homemade potato chips here in a little bit. So that being said, I got a little butter in a pan and my skillet's already hot, so I just use a fork to do this, nothing fancy. I get the butter hot and I'm going to butter my bread. That way it just works so much easier. Plus you have butter in the pan. Flip that one over. Add your corned beef to it. Nothing fancy. Fingers, just put it on there. You don't want to over-layer this and make them so thick you can't eat it, because it just falls off, makes a mess. They're no use in that. It's don't need to be that complicated. I kindly, if you can see camera view, kindly just put a nice, good, even layer on it. Kraut the same way. Just if you like a lot of kraut, lay it to it. If you don't, just use your own judgment. Again, I'll just put a good layer on it, so you can taste everything when it gets done. And plus it helps it cook all the way through. It heats it, cooks it through. Some tips, if you want to preheat your kraut and have it a little warm and meat a little warm, sometimes it don't take as long to cook in a skillet. I'll use just regular cheddar cheese. I'll put it on there like this. Don't worry, your cutting board's going to have a little bit of everything on it when you get done. And your pan, that's going to be melted out in your pan. Now, you just want to take a little bit of your Russian dressing, put it on your bread. It's not spicy, but with the horseradish and Tabasco, it does have a little bit of kick, so you don't want to overload it. If you want more afterwards, you can always dip it in there, spread a little more, but it's really good. I'll squeeze that together. I'll usually get my butter a little hot again like that, so it melts on top of my bread. And I'll butter this side of bread. Just put a little extra on it. Like I said, the skillet's already got some in it. We actually want to put this in here, and if it ain't sizzling, I can barely hear it sizzle. Just turn it up a little bit, and when we come back from the break, we'll show you the finished product. Take you an iron skillet, and I will and press on top of it, or a regular skillet. Let me grab one and I'll show you how that's done. I got a little heavy iron skillet I usually use. Nothing fancy. Just put it on there and press it down. And I don't keep this on high because I don't want my bread to burn when I put it on it, so I turn it up and just let it cook and slowly cook through. That way the meat gets warm, the kraut gets warm, and cheese melts instead of burning the bread and everything else is still cold. Welcome back. We just took one Reuben off. Actually, I'm getting ready to put two more back in. Then we're going to start the homemade potato chips to go with it, and a pickle. It's a great way to serve it. So in saying that, we'll put these face down in the melted butter. We have it on. Kindly start it off with low medium, and let it get heated through, and slowly melt everything. Then we'll flip it and let it do it, and then you turn it up and get a little more crisp. We want to put our pan back on it, press it down a little bit. We'll just actually put this out of the way for now. The cutting board is clean. French fries, sorry. I've got French fries on mine. I like French fries. I like using electric skillet fry in. It's simple. They're cheap. You can usually get one $20, $30 at Walmart. A little cooking oil. You can set the thermostat exactly what you want it. You don't have to worry about up and down. If I don't use that, I usually use an iron skillet to cook in. So either or, but today we have the fryer from Walmart or wherever you want to get it at. I'm not promoting nowhere. But on the potato chips, I've already washed the potato. I leave the peeling on. I like that. I got a really sharp knife, and you need a sharp knife because you want to slice these super thin. And I like getting them a little crispy and a little, not dark brown, but a little bit brown. And all I do when they're done, freshly fried, I take them out, toss a little salt on them, put them on a plate, and they're ready to eat. So if you're watching here, we'll slice up this potato real quick. Like I said, super thin slices, if you can see that. That's ideally what you're looking to get. And this is just some different recipes. like I said, we eat a whole lot of deer meat, venison, whatever your choice to call it, at our house. So I'm always looking for a different take on how to cook it. We kill beef each year and a hog each year, but I like from the field to plate. I like going out hunting. I like killing my own meat. I guess it's something about nature and a man or woman, sportsman or sports, that you desire to do that. So in saying that, I really like to try the different avenues and different recipes out that you can do with different creatures that the good Lord's blessed us with, to be able to hunt and fish and to eat and whatever. Hides. I know got friends that even goes all the way and they'll tan the hides and use it for stuff. So there's so much you can do with wild game, other than just taking what you want out of it and trophy hunting or whatever. But just as far as eating, I always grew up hunting and fishing, and I had a privilege. My dad, grandpa, and everybody always to take me, and it just grew into a love. And when I got older, I still enjoy it. It's very fun, but it's even, I have a more fun or more desire when you can actually take what you catch or harvest in the field and make something that you and your friends can sit around, or family sit around at the table with and eat. So we'll finish slicing this one up. Be careful not to cut yourself. So it's good if you got time. A lot of times I'll take my potatoes and I'll soak them in water for about 20-30 minutes. That'll let a lot of starch out of them. They do fry better, do better. I'm not doing that today. No biggie. They're sliced thin. They'll fry good when you put them in the grease. You can put several in there, just swish them around because they're going to float where they're so thin. Probably do a couple of fryers full of French fries. Here in a minute, as soon as we get these in here, we'll actually turn our other 2 Reubens and have them ready. I hope you guys will enjoy this recipe as we put it together and finish. Take it and make something out of it. We actually have elk in Kentucky now, so maybe some of you guys out there are privileged enough to go out and harvest big elk, and you can make corned elk out of it. So we'll let this batch fry, and while we're letting them fry, we want to go ahead and flip our other 2 Reubens off. That package that you saw, actually perfect for 3 Reubens. And let me get y'all a good view of this. You can actually see how it's browning really well. It's heated halfway through, and that's why I turn it on medium to medium low, so we can get the browning on it, and it cooks slowly through. Because the worst thing to do, if you turn it on high, it's going to burn the bread. It's going to be cold, and it won't be too pleasing to eat. Saying that, put the skillet back on it, just give it a good press, and just let it sit there and cook. The potatoes are frying. It just takes them. It don't take too long. And we'll actually plate a serving of this up in a minute. Already got this one ready. Sometimes if I'm making 2 or 3, this is not hot where you can't touch it, but it is pretty warm. You can actually lay this in there. It'll keep it warm till your potatoes get done. It's just something you can do that's simple and easy. Potato wedges is good. Homemade French fries. You can, there are numerous things that you can serve with this sandwich. And as we continue to fry these, you want to get them, I like them good and crispy. And you can probably see from the down angle camera view that when, a lot of times when stuff gets floating, people takes it out, but just just leave them in there. You can tell when they're starting to get good and crispy. Also, if you salt or season them as soon as they come out of the oil, the seasoning sticks better when they're hot and a little oil still on them. So that's a good little tip. We're been a blessing this year as far as hunting and fishing. I like to duck hunt and like to quail hunt, grouse hunt. Got bird dogs, and pretty much any kind of hunting when I get time. We enjoy doing it as a family and friends. And we've had pretty much a blessed year this year. Got to do some really good woodcock hunting and got in some wild quail, which was a lot of fun with the dogs. You'll also see some upcoming episodes eventually that'll have some hunting and stuff on them. So look forward and stay tuned for all that. So now we're actually going to plate our Reubens up. Just got the first batch of potato chips out. They're hot, oil, crispy edges, some of them brown. That's how I like them. If you don't want them that brown, take them out a little bit quicker. But this is what I like. And then I'll take just a little bit of seasoning salt, and you can use a fork or whatever. If your hands are a little hot, I probably wouldn't suggest putting my hands on them, but kind of spread them out and make sure they ain't too salty. Okay, to plate, I will simply take this first one out, and we'll use our knife. Just slice it long ways like that. If you want to see, you can see the corned beef, cheese, and sauerkraut. I like them thinner. If you want them thicker, more ingredients, you can lay the more meat, slaw, cheese to them. That's totally up to you. We'll actually, let me put this in the sink. We'll actually take another one out. It's good and done. I usually put 2 or 3 on the plate, and people can you usually got people come over so they don't last long, and do it like that. You can serve it however you want to. We'll put our French fries on, or potato chips. We're gonna have to make French fries next because I keep saying that. You got your crispy French fries. Let me move my spatula out of the way. And actually today I have some old-fashioned sour pickles I want to serve with this. Got the recipe off the internet, and throw you 2, 3, 4 of these on there, and holler at your friends, tell them come and eat. Hope y'all enjoy this. The recipes will be on the Mountain Telephone Television website, and enjoy your corned venison when it gets done. This is just one of many things that you can use to make with it. We appreciate y'all tuning in today, and we'd like to thank Mountain Telephone TV. We'd like to thank Bank of the Mountains for letting us use this place to cook, the Martha Cottle Stacy Building. It's a great place to come and do your events or baby showers, wedding showers, whatever you have. Enjoy, and thanks for tuning in.